It's made a lot of scientists scratch their heads for years, but this morning it seems researchers have an idea on why the famous San Andreas fault is so sleepy. The answer may involve water.
When it comes to tsunamis, can anything compare to what can happen if the famous San Andreas fault suddenly ruptures? Are people in coastal communities being warned of the looming disaster? Can humankind withstand the onslaught of an unprecedented tsunami? Will humankind's resiliency be enough to withstand the largest tsunami in recorded history as tensions mount and nature's wrath looms? The ultimate showdown between humanity and nature is coming, so get ready. That the San Andreas fault appears to be in a precarious position and as a result could produce a significant earthquake in the very near future. The warning that the southern portion of the fault looks like it's locked, loaded, and ready to go is something that is brand new. The reiteration of the seismic peril to Californians will not come as a surprise, of course, but what will be shocking is the warning. Southern California was rocked by an earthquake measuring 1.1 on the Richter scale, which prompted substantial anxiety on the part of the local authorities. Even though the earthquake was not particularly strong in terms of magnitude, it was significant enough to prompt the local government to declare a state of emergency in the area that was affected. After being made aware of the possible dangers and difficulties posed by seismic activity, the state government promptly issued a request for help from the federal government in order to assist in the management of the situation. Despite the fact that an earthquake of 1.1 magnitudes is regarded to be a low-intensity occurrence and may not normally inflict significant damage, the authorities in Southern California were required to take preventative action because of the region's distinctive geological background and long history of seismic activity. The proclamation of a state of emergency had the purpose of streamlining resources and improving coordinating efforts in order to respond to any potential fallout, thereby safeguarding the health and safety of the local population. The fact that the state administration sought aid from the federal government demonstrated the level of seriousness with which it treated the matter. Because they were aware of the complicated nature of seismic activity and the potential effects it could have, they sought out extra help and resources at the federal level in order to supplement the capabilities they already possessed. The state's goal in partnering with federal agencies was to improve their level of preparedness and response procedures, with the end goal of reducing any potential hazards and managing the aftermath of the earthquake more efficiently. After the earthquake, the appropriate authorities and agencies moved quickly to begin the evaluation and response procedures. They undertook in-depth assessments of the impacted locations in order to identify the scope of any damages that may have been caused and any potential dangers that may have been posed to the community. At the same time, emergency response teams were sent out to provide the inhabitants with the aid and support they required to secure their immediate safety and well-being in the wake of the disaster. The authorities in Southern California have showed their dedication to protecting their community from the effects of seismic activity by declaring a state of emergency and making a request for assistance from the federal government. Their preventative tactics intended to reduce the likelihood of any potential problems, make sure the response systems were efficient, and make the recovery process as smooth as possible. The partnership between state and federal agencies would assist pool resources, talent, and experience, which would allow for a more comprehensive strategy to managing the aftermath of the 1.1 magnitude earthquake that occurred in Southern California. The San Andreas fault has an infamous reputation for being prone to causing devastating earthquakes due to its length of around 800 miles, which spans from the Salton Sea in Southern California to the northern portions of the state. This length of the fault is where the state is divided. This enormous geological feature, which was formed by the sliding movement between the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate, has become synonymous with seismic activity and acts as a continual reminder of the Earth's great powers. It was formed by the sliding movement between the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate. The fault line, which marks the border between the tectonic plates and may be seen as a scar on the ground and runs along the western coast of California, serves as a visible scar on the landscape. Over the course of countless millennia, the relentless shifting and grinding of these plates have molded the region and given rise to awe-inspiring natural features, such as the towering mountains of the Sierra Nevada and the rugged beauty of the California coastline. These changes have occurred as a result of tectonic subduction, which occurs when a tectonic plate subducts beneath another plate. The San Andreas fault maintains a constant, albeit sluggish, pressure because the plates are pressed against one another. Yet the fault's real destructive power is only unleashed during moments of rapid release. This is because the plates are pressed against one another. This energy building can continue for decades or even centuries until the accumulated stress becomes too great, at which point a seismic event takes place. When the fault finally gives way, the earthquake that follows might rock the ground with a force that is beyond the comprehension of human beings. Those who are caught in the tumultuous grasp of it see the environment shift before their very eyes as buildings shake and open fractures appear in the earth. Strong seismic waves propagate away from the fault line in all directions, frequently wreaking enormous havoc on the infrastructure, homes, and towns that lie in their path. The San Andreas Fault has been responsible for a number of destructive earthquakes that have left a lasting impact on the territories that have been afflicted by them throughout the course of history. The Great San Francisco Earthquake of 1906 was one of the most infamous seismic events in the history of the U.S., and it was responsible for a significant amount of death and destruction. In more recent history, the San Francisco Bay Area was rocked by the Loma Prieta earthquake in 1989, which resulted in significant property damage and claimed a significant number of people. Recent discoveries have given rise to increased concerns over the San Andreas Fault, which indicates that it is gradually becoming more active. This has given rise to a growing number of earthquakes in recent years. The repercussions of this newly discovered activity have increased concerns about the likelihood of a significant earthquake occurring at a particular point in time. Geologists and other scientists have been keeping a close eye on the fault line, observing its activity and compiling data in order to have a better understanding of the current situation. It has been known for a very long time that the San Andreas Fault, which is a notable tectonic boundary in California, is located in an area that is at a high risk for seismic activity. Due to the fact that it is situated on the fault line that separates the North American and Pacific tectonic plates, it is vulnerable to severe geological stress and movement. The fault line runs the length of the state, which is approximately 800 miles long, and it encompasses densely populated places such as San Francisco and Los Angeles. Recent research has uncovered a worrisome pattern of rising movement and stress along the fault. The behavior of the fault has been better understood by scientists as a result of the use of more sophisticated monitoring strategies, such as the use of satellite-based observations in conjunction with ground-based measurements. The scientific community and the general public should be alarmed by these discoveries, since they indicate that the San Andreas Fault may be experiencing an increased level of activity. Concerns have been expressed regarding the possibility of a huge seismic event occurring in the not-too-distant future as a result of the recent uptick in activity on the San Andreas Fault, even if the exact date and magnitude of a major earthquake on this fault remain unknown. The experts underline that the fault has a long history of producing major earthquakes, such as the San Francisco earthquake that occurred in 1906 and caused widespread destruction. Because it might result in extensive destruction, loss of life, and major economic implications, the likelihood of a similar disaster occurring is cause for serious concern. Considering the magnitude of an earthquake that could occur along the San Andreas Fault, there has been a growing emphasis placed on enhancing preparedness and taking preventative measures. Communities located along the fault line, as well as the local governments and emergency management agencies that serve those communities, have been hard at work formulating and putting into action earthquake response plans. In order to lessen the severity of the damage caused by a severe earthquake, these plans contain techniques for evacuating the area, maintaining communication, and strengthening the infrastructure. The investigation of the San Andreas Fault by scientists and the subsequent monitoring of its activity are of the utmost significance. Ongoing research is being conducted with the goals of perfecting earthquake prediction models, enhancing early warning systems, and expanding our knowledge of the geological processes that lie under the surface. Scientists have high hopes that by acquiring deeper understanding of the behavior of the fault, they would be able to improve our abilities to reduce potential dangers and effectively prepare for upcoming seismic events. These experts are meticulously examining fault systems, monitoring seismic activity, and analyzing historical data in order to gain a better understanding of the behavior and features of earthquakes that occur along the fault. Drawing on their skills in geology, seismology, and engineering, these researchers are studying fault systems. They want to find trends, precursors, and potential triggers that could help anticipate when and where a large earthquake might hit by diving into the inner aspects of fault dynamics. This will allow them to make more accurate predictions. The Earth's crust along the fault line is being constantly monitored by experts using cutting-edge technical equipment and complex monitoring systems. This allows the scientists to rigorously follow any minute shifts or irregularities in the crust of the Earth. Because of this ongoing monitoring, they are able to detect even the tiniest tremors and keep an eye on the accumulation of stress along the fault, which provides them with essential information regarding the fault's seismic activity. Scientists can improve their ability to detect impending earthquakes and provide early warnings to sensitive places if they map out these patterns and determine the underlying mechanisms at play. In addition, researchers are actively engaging with civil engineers and urban planners to develop solutions for reducing the effects that earthquakes have on their communities. They propose to accomplish this by drafting and enforcing stringent building rules, as well as by modifying already existing buildings in order to improve the resilience of such buildings. And their overall goal is to lessen the vulnerability of essential infrastructure, such as hospitals, schools, and power plants. These precautions ensure that key lifelines continue to function normally, even in the face of a severe seismic event, thereby reducing the number of victims and making it easier to get back on your feet quickly. In addition to these preventative measures, scientists are working ceaselessly to raise public awareness, as well as the procedures that are in place to respond to emergencies. They intend to achieve this goal by conducting educational campaigns and community outreach initiatives, with the goal of empowering communities with knowledge regarding earthquake safety, evacuation methods, and emergency preparedness kits. They want to improve overall resilience and develop a culture of readiness by providing individuals and communities with the information and tools that are necessary. Although the possibility of a big earthquake along the fault is a formidable obstacle, scientists continue to look for ways to mitigate its effects, unfazed by the prospect. They think that by pooling their knowledge and experience, doing exhaustive study, and taking preventative action, they would not only be able to lessen the devastation caused by earthquakes, but also pave the way for communities in earthquake-prone regions that are safer and more resilient. A number of localities all around the state of California are considered to be in a precarious position along the fault line. These locations are dispersed throughout the state and include places like Point Reyes Station, Frazier Park, Daly City, Desert Hot Springs, Gorman, San Bernardino, Wrightwood, Palmdale, and Bodega Bay. They are vulnerable to seismic activity and could sustain harm as a result. The town of Point Reyes Station, which may be found in Marin County, is situated in close proximity to the San Andreas Fault. This attractive town is surrounded by gorgeous surroundings, but because to its proximity to the fault line, it is vulnerable to the possibility of earthquakes and the perils that come along with them. Another vulnerable place is Frazier Park, which can be found tucked away in the highlands of Kern County. Because of its proximity to the fault, the area is at risk of experiencing seismic activity, which can be dangerous for the town as well as its infrastructure. Daly City, which is located just south of San Francisco, is well known for the breathtaking views it offers of the coast. On the other hand, it is situated in close proximity to the San Andreas Fault, which makes it particularly vulnerable to earthquakes and other forms of potential harm. The city of Desert Hot Springs, which is located in Riverside County, sits in a region that is home to a number of active fault lines, one of which is the San Andreas Fault. The geology of the area puts it at risk for seismic activity, which can have repercussions for the city and the people who live there. We hope you enjoy it. If so, please click the like button and subscribe to our channel.